Hi guys, I wanted to talk to you today about unresolved guilt. So I took a break from Instagram and from my phone for a week, and I took time to really be with Cynthia and self-reflect with Cynthia. And I realized, and if you pay attention and if you stay present with yourself, the answers and why you're not feeling okay will come to you, but you have to go in. You can't play peekaboo with the dark and, oh, I know that's there, but not deal with it. Or say a prayer and look away, like the game of peekaboo. I see you. Okay, now I don't want to deal with it. No, you don't have to stay in in an emotion or in a thought, but you have to acknowledge that it's there and then begin to work at it. And self-reflection is one of the best things that you can do to help yourself move past something. And this week I realized that in my own healing that I was holding on to a lot of unresolved guilt. We carry guilt for so many things. Like, I'll tell you some of mine. Okay, one thing that came up was I breastfed my oldest daughter, no problem. And my younger one, my health was different. And I couldn't really do it with her like I wanted to. And it was very difficult that I couldn't do that. And I didn't even realize I was still holding on to it. And she's gonna be 9 in November. Another thing that I was holding on to was guilt of when I was really sick, and I felt like I should have somehow known how to fix things, and that's ridiculous because how was I supposed to know, and now I know. I think one of the most difficult things we do is we beat ourselves up, so unresolved guilt will manifest in your body. And one of the ways I healed myself and got off all that medication and, moved past all that physical pain was dealing with my emotional trauma. And we hold on to guilt for so many different things. But guilt is an emotion or a thought that comes up that we actually can change the perception of that guilt and acknowledge it and hold yourself accountable for what it is, right? So if there's nothing you can do about it now, there's nothing you can do, so you have to work on forgiveness of self. But also, if there is something that's bothering you that you did wrong and you need to resolve with someone else, then you need to go ahead and apologize to them. Or how can you go about resolving this guilt, because it'll manifest in your stomach, it'll manifest in your womb, in your head, in your shoulders, and in your heart. And what happens is then the body creates disease because it doesn't know what to do with these unresolved emotions. And it takes over your nervous system, and you just change and you wither away, and things get worse and worse. You have to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen with me facing this? Even if you have to face someone. Recently I had to face someone that I held on to responsibility for, and in certain ways I felt guilty. And I realized that I had, none of those emotions were mine anymore, and it was time to release them. And I was able to do that in the conversation that I had with this person. So you can't move past something that you won't address, like I said earlier with the whole peekaboo in the dark thing. And beating yourself up is only going to make your life harder and you get in your own way. One of the things that also helped me was looking, going outside of myself for some assistance. Everything is within, but the beautiful thing about having access to the internet and so many healers was I contacted Siobhan, Spirituality for Dumbasses, and I booked a past life regression reading. And that was able to helped me get into a different space and understand why I was attracting so much responsibility and carrying so much guilt. There was this level of me feeling like I didn't deserve something. I didn't deserve to move forward. You know, a lot of times we don't realize we're carrying things from past lives. And if we don't resolve it and we don't acknowledge it and we don't hold ourselves accountable for that and do the work, then it's not going to get easier and you're not going to be able to move past it. So a few ways that you can work on forgiving yourself is through self-love, because you deserve forgiveness. You know, a lot of guilt also can be manifested through conditioning. This can be religions. You know I grew up, and I don't have anything against religions, but I'm spiritual, and I believe there's truth in everything, and well, in most things in religions. But one thing that I was raised Catholic, and the Catholic religion, a lot of guilt was around to me, you know, and what I felt and what I saw. It was a lot of guilt being pushed on you if you didn't do certain things, you know. And God, Source, Universe is love, you know, and doesn't want you to beat yourself up. You know, when you see a puppy or a little baby and you're like, this is how perfect they are. You know, oh my gosh, look how amazing they are. They're perfect. Of course, this is before they start talking and tearing stuff up. But how you visualize that little perfect thing, that's how you are. You're amazing. You don't deserve to continue to carry these burdens that you were supposed to let go a long time ago. And maybe you're not acknowledging them. You know, you're not resolving them because you don't know how to acknowledge them, because no one taught you that you have to take time to mourn the old version of yourself, or mourn different things that you've been through, or acknowledge them because you were dismissed. But this is why working on self-love and self-reflection and your healing is so important, because you can't move forward and you can't have the life you desire if you're staying stuck. So self-love is definitely one of them. Journaling, going to therapy, hiring a coach like myself, or there's so many amazing ones, and really being honest with yourself. It takes a real level of self-awareness and honesty to begin the process. I was on, and I've said this in other ways, I was very ill. And me and my older daughter were talking about it recently, and she was telling me how the worst part was watching it. And she thought I was gonna die too, and so did I. And I don't blame doctors or pharmaceutical companies or anything like that, because they do their part and they know how to handle their part. I really didn't know how to do my part, and I was carrying guilt for that, because now I don't take any of those medications. And yes, I deal with physical ailments and pains and stuff like that, but I know a more natural route now. And I literally felt guilty because of the conditioning, or mothers are supposed to be this and you're supposed to be this, and wives and this and that. You know, it's all bullshit. You know, we have to learn how to be gentle with ourselves and release and reprogram ourselves and take the time to feed back into ourselves. Don't feel guilty about feeling. Don't feel guilty about the guilt that you're carrying, you know? Take steps to resolve it and to start facing it so that you can move forward. I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comments down below. And if you'd like to book a personal session, you can do so by clicking the link in my bio, and I will also tag Siobhan in this video if you'd like to book a past life regression session with her. Take care, guys. Thanks.